The intention of these Beyond seminars is to look into the future, to look at how we might do things in the future.
Just to make sure, to amplify that, we really are designing for someone in particular. That's our Marcus fellow. We're trying to satisfy the requirements of Tracy, and we are explicitly not designing for Richard. Personas help us displace bad habits. This is a related idea to the one we've just seen. The bad habit, coming back to my Not the Norm t-shirt, is that we tend to like to make products and services for people like ourselves. And the ironic thing is, by dint of being in a room like this, you're probably not like that many other people. So that tends to narrow your business possibilities. So as we studied a particular domain, we developed a set of personas. I'll just give you a quick glance at them here. And a primary persona, let's keep in mind, is one who would not be satisfied with a solution designed for someone else. And Tom Watts here was one such character. And Tom is a very intense, technically savvy individual who is very comfortable configuring powerful kinds of technology solutions. He blurs business and home life vigorously in his telecommunications practices. So when we first brought this persona set back to our client, there was an immediate attraction to the Tom Watts character. Why? Because he reminded everyone in that team of themselves. And they thought, yeah, naturally, this is the guy. Let's design for him. And we were a little concerned about that because we had some quantitative data around how many such people, and a certain sense of suspicion that maybe that's not as addressable a market. The use of this construct of mapping in a three-dimensional way where our personas are, and then layering in the products that are in the market space relevant to these became very interesting. We saw here, this is the Paul Lambert character, this here. We saw that there were two other characters that were in proximity, and we did have some quantitative data to sit underneath this to say, okay, that's an addressable market. There are a lot of dollars associated with that cluster of three. We could show that, if we designed for Tom Watts, not only would we miss Paul, but we would certainly miss these two because of the level of technical adaptation. 3 and 4 were two very successful products in the marketplace, and 1 and 2, incidentally, were two products that had been launched by this organization, and they had been dismal, cataclysmic failures. Lots and lots of money spent. Terrible market pickup. And what we could see is that, on the one hand, the products that they were selling were, in the post-implementation reviews, the analysis of why did we waste all this money, it was too hard for people to use the product, so that was the chief concern. And these products also, as we looked at the outputs, these products were all about accessibility. There was this paradigm, I'm the telecommunications company, I'm going to make you as accessible as possible. And it turned out that people, that were, in the market buying services were buying things that made them less accessible. One of the other things that we face in the economy we're in today is a rapid pace of technological innovation. So once again, working for this same client in another project, there was a desire to have a portfolio of personas that could help them to anticipate, what will be the meanings of new technologies. And of course, the problem is just because you can do stuff doesn't mean you should do stuff in terms of taking it to market. And if you do it, what is it that you focus on in claiming the features and claiming the benefits and trying to identify an addressable market for it? So this business of being able to project, what will be the meaning of things that are not yet in the market is an important issue for an organization that's dealing with an existing customer base and trying to bring new technology forward. I think that's going to be more and more the case for more and more organizations. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the concept of flow. And bear with me here in a working definition. We are attracted to flow in the sense that we've talked about a couple of examples here. What makes a good experience? What makes a bad experience? A good experience is one where you find yourself in the present, when you find yourself in an experience of flow. And a bad experience is one where you're in the opposite of that. And why is this important today? Because whereas in the past, you know, as communicators, we could claim a headline, we could push it out through mass media, and you know, the customers would respond, you know, the cash register would ring. We could push messages into the marketplace. We could take an approach where we were the subject and the target, listen to that language, the target was the object in this narrative. But we are increasingly in a world where we are the object and the customers, the people with the money, are the subjects. We want things to flow according to our projection of how this should go. What is the task I want this website to perform for me? What is the task I want this product to perform for me? How will this flow? What's the sequencing, the logical, you know, syntax of this experience? And very often we get it wrong in designing these kinds of experiences. And part of the reason we get it wrong is because we suffer from the curse of knowledge. You know, an engineer who works for Dell knows perfectly well that you're supposed to do this before you do that. And, you know, that may be the case, but, you know, we're not all engineers who work for Dell.